And so this poem is called Justice Jesus. Comment by comment, post by post, the hatred-charged foundation of this nation is being exposed. Anger permeates like smoke, thick enough to choke and gag and wheeze. The whole nation is whimpering, I can't breathe. And personally, I'm hurt by all the injustice that I've seen because Lord knows it's not right. Being black is no reason at all to end someone's life. But more than I'm hurt by the injustice that I see every time I log on to my social media screen, I'm hurt for the people who did it. For the people who truly don't believe that Black lives matter. And it's even sadder when I consider what kind of deep-rooted bitterness must reside in the mind of someone with such little regard for human life. What has died inside of them? And I'm hurt for the people who work hard but accomplish nothing. For the people who are constantly changing the course of the conversation to another concern that's controversial, yes, but conveniently more comfortable for you. I mean, should we disregard the struggles of other people just because it's easier for you to chew? And I'm hurt for the people who hastily hurl accusations like darts. When it comes to everyone else's error, they never miss a mark, but when it comes to their own sin, they're blind. Severely wounded, but they continue to fight. But who's really winning? Because if you condemn the condemner, then what have you become? And if you hate the hater, then aren't you also devoid of love? And perhaps most of all, I'm hurt for the people who suffer in silence, because quiet doesn't mean invincible and strong. It may just be that their broken heart is silently crying out, God, how long? How long is this going to last? How many times must we relive the past like a broken record? I mean, haven't we suffered enough? God, I thought they told me that you are love. Well, I don't know what you may believe or what you may have heard, but let me set the record straight. God is not taking sides in the current debate. See, God doesn't side with the racist, the murderer, or the thief who think they have a right to take someone's life just because of what they look like. Nor does he side with the group that turn protests into chances to loot, who enter chaos with even more noise under the guise of fighting for peace. Please, let me set the record straight. God is not taking sides in the current debate. The question on the table is who is on the Lord's side? Because truthfully, we're all wrong and only God is right. See, we have all sinned and come short of God's glory. And the consequence of sin is death, but that's not how God authored your story. See, God created mankind, the apex of his creation, and he intended fellowship and forever with you, never separation. But Adam, the first man, was given a command not to eat, and Adam transgressed, passing on the sin nature through his seed. So we are all born in this sinful condition. That's why it's so easy for you to disobey, disregard, and towards authority just plain not listen. That's why it's so easy to steal and to cheat and to lie. Adam sold us into sin at the beginning. And yes, that's even why there are racist and corrupt power in high places. But don't worry, there's no power higher than God. And so the season that we are in is one where we see the consequences of our sin, but let me tell you what the Lord has done. Because they were right when they told you that God is love, for God so loved the world, not the system, but the people, that he sent his only begotten son, and his son's name is Jesus. Jesus is God and humanity's clothes, the word of God in the flesh, which means that he is perfect, without sin and without defect, no spot, no blemish in the Holy Son, the righteous one. And yes, there's only one, Because as much as we are up in arms about the unjust murders of black men and women in America, and they are murders and they are unjust, the biggest injustice in the history of mankind is the crucifixion of this perfect and sinless Jesus Christ, but he laid down his life. He suffered mocking and lies. He was spat upon, beaten, brutally brutalized. He lived to die. For you and for me, he endured the greatest injustice just so you could see the red of his blood, which conveys the depth of his love for you. See, for you, he destroyed death and he slayed sin, but death couldn't hold him. He's resurrected now, never to die again. So as we cry out for justice, a life for a life, let us please just stop and consider Jesus and how he made the perfect sacrifice. See, right now we're seeing signs that it's almost time for Jesus to come back. And when he comes back, trust, he's going to put everything back on track. See, in that day, death will die and only life will remain. That means no more suffering, no more grief, no more pain. But now, in order for you to see that day, right now is the time for you to decide to believe the gospel message and ask Jesus to reside and make his home in your heart. If you want to see lasting change, then that's where you need to start. Comment by comment, post by post. The hatred-charged foundation of this nation is being exposed. Anger permeates like smoke that's thick enough to choke and gag and wheeze. The whole nation is whimpering, I can't breathe. We fight for what we think is right, hoping that one day we'll truly be free. Justice may be what you want, but Jesus is who we all truly need.